Hello, students of geometry. This is Mr. Heeren talking to you about 7.6, talking about secants, tangents, and angle measures. Basically, anything that can and will happen when two lines go through a circle. So that's kind of what we're talking about. So you got to figure out what happens by lines intersecting inside a circle, and figure out what happens when angles are formed outside of the circle. So let's kind of get into it and see what we got. So tangent, I know we talked a little bit about tangent before with trig. Tangent basically just means a tangent line now is just a line that touches a circle once. So it's going to be a circle that touches once at what is called the point of tangency. Okay, now a secant is basically what it sounds like. It's a line that goes through a circle. Through a circle. So when they talk about tangent, it touches once. Talk about secant, it goes through twice. So here's the theorem. If two secants or chords intersect on the interior of a circle, then the measure of an angle formed is half of the measure of the arcs. Okay, so here's kind of what I'm looking at. I have two lines that go through and cross. Okay, basically here's what this says. This angle, we'll call this T. We'll call this A, B, C, and D for the points. And here's basically what this says. This angle right here, okay, is going to be equal to the average of this arc plus this arc. So that means that it's going to be equal to arc AB plus arc CD divided by 2. That's going to equal your angle. That's going to be your angle measure. Now, remember, vertical angles are still vertical angles, so this is going to be congruent. All right, likewise, kind of for the same thing, up here and up here. Okay, so that would be arc BC plus arc AD divided by 2. That's going to be equal to angle BTC, which is also going to be congruent to angle ATD. So that's kind of what you're dealing with right there. So kind of put this into practice. So figure out the value of x. Well, all I'm going to do is I know this arc is 84, this arc is 130. So take 84 plus 130, that's an 8, not a 5, and divide it by 2. So that is going to be 214 divided by 2. So the measure of that is going to be 107. Likewise, here for number 2, when I'm dealing with this, I already know this is 110, 97x. Okay, so x plus 97 divided by 2 equals 110. So now, doing some algebra, multiply both sides by 2, so you're going to get x plus 97 equals 220. Subtract 97, subtract 97, so x will equal 123, I believe. Let's confirm that with the calculator. Yep, so that's going to be 123. There's my answer. Now for number 3, take a look here. A little bit different. I'm looking for that angle, but I know these two arcs. So what I want to do is take 75 plus 148 divided by 2. Okay, 75 plus 148 divided by 2. So that's going to be 111.5. Now, this is not my answer. 111.5 is this one. It is not x. Okay, so, well, these two still make a line, so that means all I got to do is take 180 minus that. So I get for an answer 68.5. So I'll figure out my value of x here. So 25x 60. So I want to take x plus 25 divided by 2, and that's going to equal 60. Well, you use algebra. 25 equals 120. Multiply both sides by 2. So 120 minus 25, x equals 95. So now, theorem, kind of new idea. Secant and tangent intersect at a point of tangency. So here's my tangent line, here's my secant. Okay? Well, all they're saying is that the angle formed is half of this arc. So the angle formed is half of the arc. Okay, so angle 1 is going to be equal to 1/2 arc BA. Okay, and angle 2 is going to be equal to 1/2 arc BCA. That's all it's saying. Anytime you've got a tangent and a secant, it's going to be half. So, figuring out QPR, well, QPR is this angle right here. So it's just going to be 1/2 of 148. So that's going to be 74. All right, likewise, figuring out DEF. DEF is this. Okay, well, that doesn't help me, but what does help me is this 64. So if this is 64, I know this arc is going to be 128. So to figure out the other one, I can subtract that from 360. A circle is still 360. It doesn't change. So you're going to get 232. Last one, find RQS if QTS is 238. So this arc is 238. So that means that this part in here is going to be 122. So that means my angle is going to be half of that. So that means my angle is going to be 61 degrees. So that's how big that angle is. Again, I'm just taking half of it, half of a lot to get going here. All right, so now look, angles are formed on the outside of all these. All the ones to this one, angles have either been formed on the circle or inside the circle. So that a lot of times you would either just take half, add, take half. Now you've got angles being formed on the outside. So all you're going to do for each one is half the difference. Half the difference. So now, outside means you subtract. So, this is 2 secants. Okay, so that means you're going to take DE minus BC divided by 2. Okay? For here, you've got 1 secant, 1 tangent. So that means you're going to have DC minus BC divided by 2. And here you've got 2 tangents. So you're going to take arc BDC minus BC divided by 2. So that's how you're going to get all these. Anytime it's outside, you're going to subtract. Okay, so this might be an important thing to write somewhere. So, figuring out L, take a look here. So, if I'm doing this, so I want to take this big arc minus 102. If only I could figure out what that is. Wait, this is still a circle. So if I take 360 minus 102, that's going to be 258. So to figure this out, I need to take 258 minus 102 divided by 2. So that's going to be a measure of 78 degrees. Now, 9's a little tougher. Okay, 9 requires a little bit more work. Let's go black, this color. All right, so now you want to figure out how big this arc is. So I'm just going to call this x and go x minus 95 divided by 2 has got to equal 56. So big minus little divided by 2 equals the angle. So if I double this, add 95, I get 207. There's my answer. So here, 179 minus 71 divided by 2. That's going to equal 108. 108 divided by 2. So that angle is going to be 54 degrees. All right, so kind of putting this into a perspective here. So if you have a drop of water, the light enters, although to me, I think this looks a little bit like the Death Star, but whatever. So AC is 128. XBY here is 84. So figure out the angle measure D. So you're just going to take 128 minus 84 divided by 2. So I get 22 degrees. All right, I feel like we already did this one. So I think that'll be enough. Come talk to me with questions. Otherwise, you have a quiz coming soon, so be prepared for it.